I'm very impressionable.
Just always come to your unemployed bartender for these kind of information.
For future, I will. I will confirm these theories with you before I change up my drinking game.
You're listening to the Unemployed Bartender Podcast with your host, Keith Carter.
They've already clicked off of the show.
You know, I haven't listened to many podcasts.
This is riveting for your listeners. You do realize this, right?
Yeah, I don't know. What else do you want to talk about?
Do you put like little outtakes in the intro of your podcast?
All of this can be cut out. This pretty much just a podcast.
New episodes every Friday. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at the UB Podcast.
All right, welcome back to the Unemployed Bartender Podcast. After it's been a couple week delay, took a week off for the election. That thought we might have a result on Tuesday. Had a whole show planned out for last Friday, and then a couple things changed. But we have a new president-elect, and that's good. Good enough for me, and a good enough reason to skip a week. But back for the second half of this season with a guest I've been trying to get for a little bit. Met him a couple months ago at a little outdoor comedy show here in New York City. Mr. Matt Richards, welcome to the show, man.
What's up, dog?
Not too much, you know. Just drinking LaCroix out of my Razorback mug. Because, I normally would be drinking beer or coffee, but this particular interview fell right in the middle of where I drink my beer and coffee.
Yeah, I'm getting caffeinated right now. I got some shows tonight.
Yeah, I understand that. I do that early in the morning, like around noon or 1.
Okay. I had my morning coffee, and this is my 3 o'clock coffee.
I got you. I'll probably have to do that right after the show because I've got a big Arkansas football is playing tonight against Florida. I don't know if you know, but I'm from Arkansas. Lived in New York for about 3 years, but my favorite time of year is college football in the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
We got a game tonight, but
I see the jersey in the background, so I knew I was picking up the vibes.
Yeah. So I don't want to start drinking too soon because then the end of the game will be less enjoyable, I think, if I start now.
I can dig it.
I've got 4 hours till game time.
What's the most wings you've ever eaten?
Most wings?
Yeah.
I split 100 wings with a guy like 14 years ago. I think I had 53 of them.
Damn.
But that's the most. I think
I was hanging out with my dad 2 days ago, and I ordered 40 wings, thinking that was more than enough for two of us to just chill and have some wings. Yeah. I ate 10. He ate 10. I left for not even an hour. I came back. The rest of the wings were gone. And I was like, you just ate 30 fucking wings on a Tuesday, Dad? He's like, I was high as shit, man. Of course.
Yeah, it's Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's wing day.
Wing day.
What you going to do? So, Joe, how many more wings did you order then? Or did you just leave it?
I was just like, you know what? I'm done. I don't even want wings anymore. It was sad. That was the first marijuana odor complaint I had gotten in this new apartment.
So this was inside the apartment that your dad.
Yeah.
I thought y'all were out. I was picturing like before times in which stories about eating wings with your dad would be like at the Buffalo Wild Wings.
No, we were in the living room.
Yeah, that's almost worse. You just went to get in the room and he ate.
It was terrible, man. I'm not gonna let him live it down. He owes me wings.
Never forget.
Never.
That was a bad day. All right, so you're from New York, born and raised in Queens.
Yes, sir.
Lived out in L.A.
Mm-hmm.
You act, you magish, you hypnotize people.
Yes, sir.
What else do you do, man? Besides obviously telling a lot of funny comedy, putting together amazing comedy shows in a pandemic. We can.
Thank you. Yes, people gotta laugh. People gotta laugh.
Yeah.
I am a dog and cat and fish dad.
Okay.
I got 2 huskies and 2 cats.
Those are the things that you don't really have to ask about. But we could all tell you were a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what was it? What were we talking about? What was it like to put in these pandemic comedy shows on? Like, how did that Was this something? Was this your thing to make it laugh?
Make it clap. I got
Make it clap.
approached by two of my friends, Billy June and Tiana Morales, to they said they wanted to do a show. They wanted me to host it, and I was like, all right, let's go. Let's fucking do it. Yeah, it was just that. Comics want to get on stage. A lot of us haven't been able to perform in months. And since the clubs are closed for the most part, you know, we gotta stay sharp, and the people want to laugh. So it's like, if you build it, they will come sort of thing.
Speaking of that, sad news that I think a lot of us heard today about Creek in the Cave.
Yeah, man.
How have you done many shows there? I'm sure.
Thor, come here.
From here,
I've done a few, and I was born and raised in Queens, but I moved from Queens before I like knew of the Creek in the Cave. But I'm good friends with Rebecca, so you know, she's gonna be all right. She's gonna bounce back. But the Creek fostered so many funny people's early careers, and it's sad.
It's all sad, but it hits closer to home when it's a place that you enjoy or you performed or things like that. It makes it, you know, I guess it's the inevitability of understanding the sadness that 2020 is, that we're all going to eventually experience, and some of us are today. So, unfortunately, I know you've been you hosted HQ Trivia. Or you
I am
currently
the host. Yes.
I know that it went away, or it was a thing, and everybody was talking about it in my bar at one point, and we were playing at the bar, and then I just didn't hear about it.
It went away.
And the next thing I heard was you hosting it.
Yeah, it went away for a month, and we've been back since March.
Okay.
We still have like our core group of players, but because we've never advertised or anything like that, it's all just been organic, word of mouth.
I bet not having bar culture this year definitely hurts, because that's the times that I would see people like, oh, it's this time, let's everybody at the bar getting on doing that. Yeah,
I mean, majority of our players have always played from home, but there are the people that do it while they're at a bar. It is what it is. Sometimes people get, that's the nature of viral things. It comes in waves. So we had a huge surge in popularity early on, and now we're down to like the core group of people. We get like 80,000 players still 7 nights a week.
That's awesome.
I've
been meaning to play, and one of these days I'll remember. My problem is it's a time, it's whatever, you got to be on it at a certain time,
it's
right?
Every night at 9 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah. So I don't have a capacity for doing thing on other people's time. So,
but you can play in the app. We have the daily challenges, which are, I think it's 24 hours.
Yeah. All right, I'll check it out. Everyone else should check it out.
For sure.
All right, so how long have you and you do all these other things, like I said, actor, magician, hypnotist, which I definitely want to get into, but as far as comedy, is this something you've always been like just the funny guy that got up and did things, or you always wanted to get up on stage?
I have wanted to do stand-up since I was 6 years old. No lie, I got out of bed and I went to the living room to watch porn on Cinemax.
At 6?
Yep, that's where the big TV was. I was looking for the softcore porn. And as I was channel surfing, I passed Def Comedy Jam. And I'll never forget, it was Greer Barnes doing a joke about Arnold Schwarzenegger and Mike Tyson sharing a jail cell. It was the funniest shit that 6-year-old Matt had ever heard in his life. So I laughed so loud that my dad woke up and he came into the living room. He's like, "What are you doing out of bed?" And I was like, "That guy's funny." And then he sat with me and we watched the rest of the Def Jam episode. And I'm like, "Is that a job? Like telling jokes? You can do that as a job?" And he was like, "Yeah, but you got to go to college first." Quickly found out that was bullshit.
Yeah, you got to have a master's degree if you want to be a comic.
Yeah, so I mean, I've had my heart set on it since that day.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Had your dad seen Def Jam comedy before you introduced him to him?
Yeah, he was a huge comedy fan growing up. Prior tapes, prior vinyls, and Cosby. Just he was He's big on comedy.
Well, so at 6-year-old you was watching that, you decide you want to be a comic. When did you make your like? When did you feel like, you know what, I'm a comic? Like this is what I do. Was it?
So I've been in performing arts schools my whole life. I went to Frank Sinatra. It was a performing arts school. Yeah. Well, it's in Astoria now. When we started, it was in Long Island City, and I was there for theater. So I would leave school early at like 14 years old, go into the city to sell tickets for Stand Up New York. Yeah. And I was told by the head of the street team that if I sold X amount of tickets, he'd put me on stage. He lied to me for a couple years. I didn't first. What? Yeah, I didn't get on stage officially until 17 when I was working with a hypnotist named Justin Trance, who had me doing magic and some jokes to open his hypnosis shows. So I had my little, 5-minute set of jokes and then about 10 minutes of magic. And I would do that at the top of his shows, 3 shows a night, 7 nights a week. And then one night, somebody on the comedy club side of the theater was late. And the booker was like, yo, I need you to go up and do 15. He paid me. And that was my first time where I was like, oh, I'm a comedian now.
I'm a paid comic.
Yep. That turned into 6 shows a night, 7 nights a week. No days off for my first 10 months. It was like a crash course in the New York comedian experience.
I like how you, you learned a lot of different kind of ancillary things around comedy, like magic and hypnosis and things like that. I think it's an important point. Like with a lot of people, we all have these things that we really desire, but there are a lot of different ways in.
Absolutely.
To the things that you
absolutely
like. And it's important to kind of to broaden your spectrum and your horizon of the things that you might be interested in, might learn, because those offer other avenues in. Like you said, you got in through magic.
Yeah, magic was. I got my first magic set when I was 4 years old because my dad and my uncle got robbed in a Toys R Us parking lot. They weren't robbed. The guy stole. Shut up, puppy. They loaded up the trunk of my uncle's Jeep with Christmas presents from my sister and I. And my dad was like, oh, shit, I forgot something inside. So they both go inside and left the trunk wide open. Some guy pulled his car up and just started shoveling shit into his trunk. And he drove off. So my dad was like, oh, fuck, all the toys for my kids are gone. So he went and grabbed me a magic set. And it was a wrap from there. I started doing kids' parties when I was 10.
That's why I find comics, bartenders, we were all just like super just entrepreneurs when we were children. Just like whatever you got to do.
It's a hustler spirit, man, a hustler mentality. If you don't got it, you don't got it, you don't got it.
I used to sell, and I got in huge trouble. Man, I got grounded for like a year, and I was sentenced to like 100 hours of manual labor by my parents because we got satellite, I guess. At some point, we lived out in the middle of nowhere. We got satellite sometime around like 10th, 11th grade, maybe like 95, 96, 97. Mm-hmm. And I started taping the software and selling the tape. I'd sell those tapes, for good profit.
Like VHS tape?
But the phone bill, VHS tapes of the stuff that I would record off of Skinemax or whatever. Playboy Channel, we had it all for a little bit. There was some trial thing. Yeah, but all this stuff showed up on the bill, like, I don't know, because I got reckless with it. I was just ordering shit. Nobody had said nothing in like a couple months. And I was like, I'm getting away with it. Let's up the profits, up the stuff. Yeah, it did not work. Do not recommend.
I got banned from a library for printing out pornography on the library printer. That shit took 2 hours.
Just pictures.
It was a picture.
Was it the
it was a picture. Form? I got in trouble for using all the colored ink.
Yeah, that'll do it. 20 years ago, that'll definitely.
Word. I had to go fill up the dog's water bowl because they were barking at me. Yeah,
that's fine. That's the listeners of our show are used to just Dogg in general. Just a tremendous amount of unprofessionalism across the board is what.
My bad.
No, that's usually for me. But so any bonus we can get, we always take it. We love it. Let's see. You lived in L.A. You were in Two Broke Girls.
That was a lot of fun. I got to act in a scene with Garrett Morris, who I've been a fan of for years. I mean, he was OG SNL. He played Uncle Junior on the Jamie Foxx show, which I watched every day after school. Yeah. And so getting to do a scene with him was like a dream come true. I know it sounds like cheesy or whatever, but he was awesome.
Oh, not at all.
Yeah, and
how did that work going from, obviously, so you become a magician at 7 and you're on stage, 17, 18, somewhere in there. I got now you're a comic. But where does LA come in? How do we take that transition from the stage? Well,
I'd always been, going to school for an everyday thing. So the transition to acting was pretty smooth, actually.
Actually, on that point, so my daughter, we actually looked at, she started high school this year. She's at Brooklyn Arts.
Okay.
Performing arts. But of the, we did the 12 schools. I don't know how familiar you are or how similar.
All that auditioning. Yeah, man.
Yeah. 12 different schools. Sinatra was on the
What's
list.
she majoring in?
Theater. She was interested in that one. I
heard it's her birthday today as well.
And her birthday is today.
Magic. No.
She is 15 years
old. God bless.
Old.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday, baby girl.
It's happy birthday, Kylie. I already called her twice today and made her talk to me for a long time on her birthday.
No.
She loved that. No, I was just wondering what kind of preparation like my daughter's getting. Like, is it a smart move for her to be, if she wants to go into these performing arts and be in theater and things like that? What did you learn from that experience that kind of helped you go into that career?
I learned how to be a part of an ensemble, which is very important. Comedy itself is a solo sport. And that's therein comes some sort of hesitation from productions when hiring comedians, because they're like, oh, this guy's all about him. He doesn't know how to, share the funny. But having that theater background really, you understand the ebb and flow of working with other actors. Word.
Gotcha. So, I mean, for as far as like knowing, I guess you got an agent or something once you got into comedy. I'm guessing that's pretty much was like, what did you do to get the attention of LA?
I had
just in a way that would, I'm asking these questions for aspiring.
Yeah. I got approached by a woman that wanted to manage me early on, and no disrespect to her, but she was like bringing me auditions that I was already getting notified about on my own from like whatever little websites or backstage and stuff. And doing comedy, I made some relationships with people that were working in television. And then I got with MTV. I got on their radar just from being in the clubs. And after writing for and appearing on some MTV programs, they were working the shit out of me. So that was dope. And then that led to me getting, a more professional manager who I have now. And it's been dope since. I signed with CAA, which is like a big agency out in Cali, after I auditioned for SNL for the first time. And CAA is how I got like a lot of the TV stuff I did out in LA.
Speaking of that SNL tryout, what was that like? I mean, I know a lot of comedians dream of trying like that. And was it what year, what crop of comedians did we get out of the year that you tried out?
I auditioned for the first time, I want to say 2016, and I made it pretty far. But at the time, they had already there was Keenan. Keenan was on the show, Jay Farrow, Che. So I was like, all right, the odds of them taking another black dude. I mean, there's only so many slots in the cast. And I didn't audition again until this year. And I made it to like the final round. Lauren watched my tape. They called me to let me know that I didn't get it. But they were like, you got fans here, so send us another one. We hope you audition again next year. I was like, all right, whatever. Go.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I felt like this was an interesting year when they like released the cast and all that stuff. And I feel like it wasn't that normal fanfare that you get from new cast and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe that's from my perspective. It was kind of just a weird year. I'm sure it was weird to audition and all that as well. Not the same.
Yeah, it was all via, tape submissions. So I put together like a character reel. I had my friend Tiana, who produces the Make It Clap show with me. She shot it all on a GoPro. My boy Charles cut it up, and we sent it to them, and then they showed it to Lauren, and yeah, it was a dope tape.
Did it have H.A.D on it?
No, it didn't. That was I've known Chris Red since 2012. We were actually cast in a sketch show together. It was 50 Cent's sketch comedy show called 50 Central. And we shot that and we became friends there. And then 50 did something and the network was like, oh, this guy is volatile.
Yeah.
So they pulled the plug on it, and then 50 took the show to another network, and the new network made him recast the show. A lot of weird shit going on behind the scenes, but it's all a part of the game.
Yeah, I would think so. How was it doing that? If you're not familiar, H.A.D is a response to WAP.
Yes, we did the remix that nobody asked for.
Yeah, nobody asked for it at all. I loved it though.
Hard ass dick.
How did that go? How was that? Did that get relatively big? I know.
I think we just did it because we thought it would be funny, and the people that heard it or saw it loved it, and we were gonna do a video, but we both got busy. He's up to a lot of shit. He's doing movies and SNL, and I'm like executive producing some TV shows and hosted HQ, and so yeah, we'll link up again though. We're working on a secret project currently.
Oh, yeah. What is it?
A secret.
I can trick you with that one.
No, we got some more music coming out. Our group name is the Toxic Boys, so we'll be dropping something real soon.
All right, look for that new album by Toxic Boys dropping soon.
Yes, sir. You heard it here first.
That's an Unemployed Bartender exclusive.
World premiere.
So what's this movie? The Last Conception?
The Last Conception was based on a novel. Forgetting the author's name, but we shot that like a year ago.
Gabriel Constance.
Yep. And it went to the Cannes Film Festival. Did really well. And now it's available for your viewing pleasure wherever you can watch movies, except Netflix.
Yeah, is it like an on-demand thing, or?
Yeah, it's on demand. It's on like Amazon Prime. The Last Conception is dope. I got to play a fertility scientist.
I can see that.
Co-worker and best friend to a wonderful actress. Her name's Nazanin Mandy. She is she's dope. It was her first like leading role, so that was cool to be there and be a part of that.
I guess since it was this year's Cannes, did you get to go, or
nope?
Was there an online virtual thing?
I think so. I don't know.
One year you would have got to go to Cannes.
I couldn't go, man.
And then it's not even.
Pandemic got me all messed up.
Candemic.
The Candemic. That's funny.
I never said I wasn't a comedian too. I say funny things.
How long you been bartending?
13 years now, I guess. I don't know. This year, I forget how to count time.
This is a leap year. This is like this is a skip year. I say any age that anybody turn
leap year.
Yeah, we are we're leaping over this year.
Yeah, whole thing. Yeah, so I get to do, because I turned 39 this year. No celebration. I turned 40 in June. So if we're still locked down and there's no, I didn't even get a birthday, and then I have to hold new the birthday, and it's 40.
Nope, you stay 39.
Yeah,
it carries over.
Going until I get. Yeah,
exactly.
I think that's all. We're all in agreement here.
Mm-hmm.
We just got to get the government to get behind it. It'll be
well, that's the tricky part.
It'll be like the 13th floor of a hotel. It won't be written on anything. We just will always skip over it.
But everybody on 14 knows where they are.
Yeah, yeah, they do. Past it. Great past it. So what have you been besides, like I said, standing outside of market terminals every Saturday and or Sunday this summer? What have you been up to during the lockdown?
Riding, just
and all these other things, other than all the work and the things and all the projects. What besides all those hundreds of things?
I'm just trying to stay busy, man.
Relax.
What is that?
Downtime with you? I know.
Downtime.
You said you were. You earlier when you were talking to my producer, you said you had to pick up your dog's shit or something like that. That sounds like you had a little bit of downtime. You had to get to pick it up.
No, they're husky. I mean, that was the old. That's how I relax. Is picking up dog turds.
That's my downtime.
No, we went to the dog park for like an hour, so that's really like the only time I get to like not think about work stuff. But even then, I'm working.
Do you have a favorite? Is there like a number one dog park that you go to, or just the closest one to your house? There's a few in the immediate area. There's like one across the street, and there's one on the West Side Highway. So we try to hit the dog park maybe twice a day. Good boy, Thor. Hi. You switch it up though, or it's always closest to the house? Well, we got to schedule. Like Thor and Winter have friends that they got to see at certain times of the day, so we go over to the West Side Highway dog park early, and they get to play with the smaller dogs and some of the bigger dogs, and then we go to the dog park across the street, and it's more of the neighbor dogs. Yeah. It's a vibe. I want to save the. You gotta get, even the dogs need to have a little bit of social time. Yeah, they gotta see. Pandemic. They gotta see their squad. And that's on you. You have to take them to this. If I don't, they're gonna shit in the house. They would definitely shit in your house. I've had dogs do that too many times. What's bad when it's like explosive, it's bad. Yeah, that's never cool. Never a good time. The trash. My poor daughter, to tell stories about her on her birthday. We were gone away. We were gone like for most of the day. It was too long, but we knew we were hurrying back. You get pushed and whatever. And she was in my daughter's room for some reason. I don't remember why it was specifically. She was staying back there for the day, and I don't know what she ate in there, but it was all over the walls. It was all over the sheets, the bed, everything. We had to throw the whole room out. It's like getting bed bugs. It was terrible. Poor thing. My poor dog and my poor daughter. Man, I'm telling the story on a podcast. Yeah. Does she listen to it? She said that she almost thought about it once. I was going to tell her to listen to this one, but she might not want it. She's 15. She's too cool. She's way too cool. She's like, Dad, why would I listen to you when we talk? Why would I listen to your podcast? I don't listen to you at all. Ever. It's the thing. Let's see. All right. So on my bio here, I've gone through all the stuff, everything that's been on here. So other things, though, it says you just started doing karate. So I feel man. That's just on here. I just started doing some. It's not even karate. I wanted to do karate after watching. Karate. I wanted to do it after watching Cobra Kai on Netflix, but what had happened was I signed up at Tiger Schulman's, and it ended up being MMA. Yeah, I was not ready. Different. That's different. I was not ready. How many guys do you think I guarantee you, because I did. I walked by. We're in New York. We will walk by karate dojos. Oh, of course. Karate studios and stuff like that. And I definitively stopped outside one and longingly looked at it for about 45 seconds. I was like, you know what? No. It's a great workout. How many adult men our age do you think probably considered going into karate? So many. In their late 30s and 40s because of Cobra Kai. So many. I was talking like
when I was signing up, I mentioned Cobra Kai, and they were like, "Yeah, we're having a really good month.
We're having a rush.
Yep." I was like, "Oh, that's great. It's great for the sport of whatever, you know." So,
Karate.
yep.
Yeah, but the only decision is like, do we pick the heel or the hero dojo? Like, which one do we want to go in? That's where I got stuck.
Well, I feel like Tiger Showman's, no shade to them, and I hope they don't listen to this because then they'll probably kick me out. But that one feels more like a Cobra Kai than like I wanted to go to like a,
yeah, Mr. Miyagi's
exactly. I want to go to like a Miyagi-Do, but I couldn't beat the prices at Tiger Showman.
That's how they get you, man. We know you want to be good and do good for the world, but check out our prices.
Yep. I was like, God damn.
Got another one.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
I'll go balance it out like a parent that cancels out the other's vote. I'll go join a Miyagi-Do down the street, and then we'll fight it out for the all quarantine championships at the end of the semester. All right. Well, since I finished the bio, now we get to go to what I like to call the lightning round. I had a whole big name for it that it completely slipped my mind because it's been 2 weeks since I've done the show. And because we got pushed, I like to. It's quarantine, and I don't drink as much because it's bad. So many consecutive days of consuming copious amounts of alcohol. You've heard it here first. Is bad for your health. Don't do it. Okay. I'll be the first one to tell you. No one else will tell you. But smoking weed, as you know, feels great, and you don't have any nasty hangovers.
So my thing with weed, I had to take a break, man. I had to take a huge break from the ganja.
Yeah.
Yep. While I was living in LA, I was writing for Snoop Dogg. The highest I have ever been in my life daily.
I would, if Snoop Dogg's smoking you out at all, I can't imagine not being higher than that. It seems like the pinnacle, the mecca of the opportunity of weed smoking. That's what we all strive for.
My job was to literally take the scripts to his trailer at 8, 9 in the morning and brief him on the episode we were going to shoot that day. And I would walk in, he would be like, "What's up, nephew?" Hand me a blunt about that long.
That he was already working on at 9 a.m.
and then it's like, you got to get, he said something that made so much fucking sense, but it was also like very nonsensical. He's like, "How are you supposed to think like me? No, how are you supposed to write like me if you don't think like me?" And I was like, I can't argue with that. I'm not going to, absolutely.
Hand it over.
Sounds good. So I hit it, and I would have to leave the trailer after he was all caught up and then sit in the control room with all my bosses and the network executives and everybody, just reeking of the best weed in America. And everybody's everybody's looking at me like, "You're high, aren't you?" I'm like, "Duh, motherfucker. Absolutely. That's my job."
You can't possibly expect someone working directly with Snoop Dogg to not be. I mean, just the contact high alone.
The contact would be crazy, but hitting it like, "Thank you. Here we go. Wow."
Yeah.
And now I have work to do. I got promoted from just a writer to a floor producer my second day of the most recent season that we did. So that was even more responsibilities that I had to fulfill while baked off my ass. And it was, I learned a lot about myself.
Yeah. It really exposed some things inside that day.
Yep. I learned a lot about myself. It was, I had like a headset on, and people in the truck were telling me, "All right, hey, we need Snoop to do this. It's a product mention for Hidden Valley Ranch, blasted pizza dipping ranch sauce or whatever the fuck." And I was like, "Okay, and you want me to tell him to say that verbatim?" And they were like, he has to say it word for word. And I was like, look, man, nah. And they're like, what do you mean, nah? And I said, look, I'm going to go talk to him, all right? But I have to go off walkie-talkie. I said, y'all can't hear what I'm going to say to him. And they were like, no. Don't you take your headset out. We need to tell you what to tell him. And I said, first of all, just don't stop yelling at me. I'm too high for this. I said, I'm going to put my walkie-talkie down. I'm going to go have a conversation with the man, and then we'll figure something out. So I took the walkie-talkie off, and Snoop was like, I already heard you talking to the niggas in your head. What they talking about? And I said, they want you to do like a thing. You go to the fridge and you take out this Hidden Valley Ranch shit, but you got to say, oh, Hidden Valley Ranch, pizza blast and dipping sauce. I put this on my French fry, or whatever the fuck. And he's like, that shit corny. And I was like, I know. Then he said, so they want me to say it like word for word? I said, yeah, they also said it's $100,000. And this is what you're getting for mentioning it in the show. And he goes, 100 racks? All right, fuck yeah. And then he said it verbatim, and they were like, what did you do? I was like, I just told him how much he was getting for it.
Sometimes you just need to know what it's for.
Exactly.
He's all for.
He killed that
money.
shit.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I'm in.
He's a consummate professional. Him and Martha Stewart.
Exactly.
Are two
honestly, it's just lay it out. It's like, that's literally why I'm here.
Yeah.
Pay me. I'll say it.
I'm like, you're already here getting paid for making a show, but now you're getting extra money to mention some ranch sauce.
Yeah.
Talk about that ranch, baby.
Yeah. That's exactly that. That's the inner hustler activated. Just let them know how much money they're going to make. Like, okay, yeah.
Word.
I've been trying to hustle a little extra money out of them anyway. This will work.
Yeah, man.
All right. So, yeah, let's get to this. Oh, yeah. I call it the closing time lightning round, where the questions to the answers to your questions on this lightning round are guaranteed to people approaching you on the streets because of how controversial they are.
Oh, dear.
That's the dumb intro I do for it.
Okay.
So this is pretty much, I ask you a bunch of things. You say the answers that you have, and then we'll ask you another one.
Okay.
Like every other lightning round that's ever been. All right. Cats or dogs?
That's tough because I got both, but dogs.
You have to pick one. You have to kill the other one. So which?
Dogs.
Yeah. Winter or summer?
Winter.
Nice, because it's almost winter. So
you can always get warm, but it's hard to get cold.
Yeah, I can only get so naked is what I like to say to everyone that I'm around at all times. Apple or Android?
Apple.
I've told my producer that I've refused to interview any more people that use Apple products just for the fuck of it, but they continue to give me people that exclusively use Apple products.
Yeah, that's it, man. My Apple Watch is charging right now.
It's like, I'm all in. They said, how much? I said, all right, I'll do it. SNL or Mad TV or Living Color?
It's tough. I love SNL. I love In Living Color, but Mad TV holds a very special place in my heart.
All right, so
Miss Swan, Stewart,
yeah,
bro, that shit was hilarious.
Yeah, I think Mad TV had more like viral.
Yeah,
because would have been viral back in the day, whereas SNL had just these like, I don't know, it's almost like just like that's iconic, like characters at SNL.
Yeah, I feel like Mad TV
had those quick hitters that'll get you every week. Like, damn, that's hilarious.
They didn't pull any punches.
Yeah. All right, liquor or beer?
Liquor. I can't remember the last time I got drunk off beer.
It's hard.
Yeah, I tried. I was like, oh, I feel heavy.
I switched to 12% beer, and it helps.
Okay, there you go. Little delirium tremens.
That's Double Dog by Flying Dog. They're Double Dog double IPA.
I like
12%.
Flying Dog's
bang for your buck.
Raging Bitch.
Yeah, I like that as well.
That one's tasty.
The Double Dog I like because it doesn't, I don't know if you're much of an IPA drinker, but an Imperial or a double IPA is got a lot. It's
somebody told me IPAs can lead to man boobs, so I stopped.
That's not true.
All right, well, I'm very impressionable.
Just always come to your unemployed bartender for these kind of information.
For future, I will. Confirm these theories with you before I change up my drinking game.
Totally debunked.
Myth busted.
All right, who would win in a fight, a bodega cat or a pizza rat?
Bodega cat.
Yeah,
that's why they're in the bodega.
That's true.
For rat prevention.
What if they went for the pizza? What if they went for the pizza instead of the rat?
Cats don't eat pizza.
If it's an anchovy pizza, though.
I think it would pick the anchovies off the pizza.
Yeah, and during this time, the rat has time. Come in and drop the
bodega cats are gangster as fuck, man.
What if it's a pizza splinter?
This is funny, and it's related to what we're talking about. I've seen in a lot of bodegas now, especially in neighborhoods where there are they're experiencing more gentrification. The bodega owners are putting up signs like, "Don't steal my fucking cat," because these white women come into the bodegas and they're like, "Oh my God, I have to rescue it. Like, that cat is happy. Leave him. This is his house. Why are you taking the bodega cat?" To put him on a gluten-free kibble.
Trying to rescue bodega cats.
It's a real epidemic.
That should be a whole PSA that we got to do right there.
I was talking to a bodega owner recently, and he was sad as fuck. He's like, "I don't know, the woman, she come inside and she's taking my car, and I love that cat, man. I love him." He's like, he got
from the cats, Karen.
Karen,
it's a bodega cat. It's not your cat.
Kitty stealing Karens, man. It's foul.
All right, Mets or Yankees?
Yankees.
Bronx Bomb.
Boom. And I'm from Queens, so it's weird.
That's weird.
I grew up a Yankee fan. That's what it's gonna be till I die.
I'm from Arkansas. I grew up a Yankees fan, so it's not about where you're from, but it's about what you believe in and the greatness.
Indeed.
At least for me. But what do I know? Just a kid from Arkansas. Jets or Giants? That one's tough. For me, they're both in Jersey, so I don't like with either of them.
Yeah, I'd have to go Giants just because I have very fond memories watching their most recent Super Bowl win with my grandmother. And we were drinking gin watching the Super Bowl. And it was just, we had a blast.
Perfecto.
Yeah.
I didn't get into either Jets or Giants. I was a Bills fan. It was my original team.
Mm-hmm.
Back, the very first Super Bowl I ever watched was Bills Redskins.
Okay.
I can't remember if Bills Redskins or Bills Giants. The 91.
Okay.
90 or 91, somewhere in there. And then the Bill, I was like, man, I love these guys. Jim Kelly and Thurman Thomas, and just Isaac Bruce, and just all these cats. And I was like, all right, these are my guys. And then I became a football fan, started betting on football, playing fantasy football. I bet on the Bills 4 years in a row. And
you should check out HQ. We got this new game on Thursdays at 8 p.m. It's called Hall of Trivia. It's all about fantasy football and football.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What at HQ Trivia? What day? What time?
So it's called Hall of Trivia every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern time, right before the normal HQ game. It's all about fantasy football and football.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out.
Yeah, it's dope.
I think I'm good at some trivia type things, so that's why I've been meaning to get on there and test my.
Do it, man. We're the only app paying people to play.
I'm in. You convinced me. It only took a podcast interview to get me, but
there you go.
This is what they're doing. To be fair, I want to thank HQ Trivia because they set this whole thing up. This is Matt. He individually meets with every single person that no longer plays HQ Trivia.
So win them back.
A long conversation with you to get them back. So thank you, HQ.
It's all a part of the plan, baby.
All right. Well, that's all the things that I had written down about you to discuss back at you for you to converse to me. What? Anything else you'd like to talk about, man? Just any questions you want to ask me?
What is a drink that every 30-year-old man should know how to make?
Drink that every 30-year-old man should know how to make. Whiskey on the rocks.
Yep.
I mean, or whiskey neat. Actually, all right. Something that every 30-year-old man should know, regardless of their preferences, is
like
the
if
difference
a cocktail
neat,
that would impress.
I could tell you, knowing this one set of things,
Okay,
it makes it all else, everything else irrelevant, because you have preferences and you don't need to know other things.
Yeah,
just know the difference between neat, rocks, and up.
Now I know neat is no rocks.
Neat is just typically a 2 ounce. You have a shot, which is typically in larger cities a 1 ounce pour. Where I'm from, a shot's 2 ounces, just because
Hello,
it makes everything's cheaper. But a neat pour, it's going to typically be a 2 ounce pour of whatever liquor you prefer,
mm-hmm.
And then you've got a rocks on the rocks, which is also a 2 ounce pour over
just
ice.
Yes, sir.
Typically, and then you have up, which is typically a shaken and or stirred drink in a coupe or stemmed glass that has been chilled. It's kind of a combination of the two. It's neat like a neat, but it's a neat pour is not cold. It is just straight out the bottle in a glass.
Room temp.
Yeah. So if you want it room temp and no ice, that's neat. If you want it ice with ice, that's on the rocks. And if you want it cold but no ice, that's up.
Dope.
So there you go.
Well, all right.
That's the three things any gentleman or woman or anyone should know if they want to go into a bar and order what they want. Because the key thing about ordering drinks and having an alcohol or whatever you prefer is it doesn't really matter what all the options are and what everybody else thinks. Like whatever you like to drink,
exactly.
That's what you should order. That's the only thing that really matters. Just order that and order it with confidence that you're ordering exactly what you want. That's all you need.
Got to be true to you.
That's it. All right. Well, is that it? Any other questions for me, Mr. Richards?
No, that was it.
That's the one.
Yeah.
All right. I'm glad I could answer every question you've ever had.
Thank you so much.
It's been a pleasure having you on the show, man.
It's been a pleasure being here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm glad we could finally track you down. Like I said, it only took 2 months, 3 commitments, 2 stock downs.
I didn't have headphones.
And a headphone retrieval.
Yeah, I had to go buy some headphones.
Yeah, all good. Like I said, it was very much worth it. Appreciate the time and the conversation.
Thank you, brother.
A wonderful guest to open up the second half of the first season of the first third of my new series of... No. Just kidding. Just another show. But yeah, so we've got a guest bartender, which we do. If you haven't listened to our show, if you're tuning into this first time because you wanted to hear Matt Richards' silky smooth voice,
all right, now
stick around. Yeah, there you go. On the other side, on the flip side, I have a guest bartender every episode that comes and teaches us a new cocktail, shows you how to make it. You're more than welcome, and we encourage you to tip the bartender for the recipe of this wonderful creation that they came up with that you're allowed to make at home now because the bars are closed. So stick around for that. I'll be back on the other side. Like I said, one more time, appreciate talking to you, Matt. And
likewise.
And, see you at your next show.
For sure.
All right, welcome back to the other side of the Unemployed Bartender Podcast. I want to thank Matt Richards for joining me again, and I'd like to welcome our guest bartender, Mr. Devin McIntire. Welcome to the show, man.
How you doing, Keith?
Doing pretty good. It's a nice, cool, crisp Sunday morning here in Brooklyn. How's it down in D.C.?
It's windy, dark, and rainy.
I mainly wanted to have you on the show because I wanted to make sure you survived the million MAGAs that marched upon your city yesterday.
They come out. There's one in the White House too for another couple of months.
Yeah, almost gone though. He almost conceded this morning, and then he realized he kind of had, and then was like, wait, I could see nothing.
Right. Well, yeah. I guess I've been pretty happy since last Saturday.
Yeah, everything seems just a little bit nicer. Even the terrible shit is just like, but
I tell you, in the last 4 years, I've had some highlights. Right, I've gotten married. I've had my first child, but it's all, every time I drink, there's a little bit of guilt because you're not supposed to drink out of sorrow. And Saturday was the first time last Saturday when I was like, I'm having a drink and I feel great.
Yeah.
I'm drinking in celebration for the first time in 4 years.
It really, I don't know. It was a big weight. Of course, here in New York, upon the announcement, the city erupted in jubilation as dancing took to the streets everywhere. It was quite a party. We took a little time to go drive around and see people out, and it's just horns honking and people dancing and having a good time. How was it? It looked like the party was even bigger down there. I don't know how close you were to the White House, but
We didn't make it down to the White House, but we were walking home from the playground, and there was fireworks in the middle of the day, and we said, "We, what?" I mean, there's always fireworks in DC. It's kind of a DC thing, I suppose, but there was a lot of fireworks, and then people stepped out of their houses and let out some hoots, and we checked our phones quickly and saw the news. It was pretty exciting.
What a great way to learn. And it's like, I love all these memes. There's a ton of them that are really, really great. But the ones that, be good enough at your job that the whole world doesn't celebrate.
Right.
Break into celebration spontaneously when you're fired is probably my favorite. Just because that is what happened.
Just there was people with the pack your shit sign made me feel really good. I was like, that's what I feel like. And we were having a conversation that night with some friends, and my wife said, what kind of sage burning ceremony are they going to have in the White House, in that Oval Office before Biden takes in? Like, I mean,
yeah,
you have to have some powerful medicine cleaning that stuff out.
I think you just get the book of all things that, take away bad spirits and just do every single one of them in successive order until it doesn't matter if they cross over into different ideological beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
Just get them all down. Let's just
cover our bases. You need the all-star team here.
So we met a little differently than most of my guest bartenders, not through the bar industry, but a couple weeks ago, we were both in Raleigh, North Carolina, the Raleigh-Durham Chapel Hill Triangle, to give some of my friends I've made down there a little bit more respect on their name. But we were both canvassing for a Vote Blue organization, trying to get the votes out. We weren't quite successful in North Carolina, but I think we did. I think we both probably, just from conversations we'd had previous to this, took a lot away from the experiences. And for me personally,
it felt important to be doing something and knocking on whatever. I think I got to at least 1,500 doors, probably more, probably close to 2,000. Not all of those doors answered, but I was out there and I felt like I was part of something, and that felt really good.
Yeah, it's hard to describe, especially if, I don't know if you've ever done any kind of political work like that before. I have not, and I typically am very much I'm not going to put a sign out. I'm not, I'm never hooting and hollering about my candidate. I'm going to have conversations and express my beliefs to people that I feel, if I engage in conversations, that I feel like that needs to be done. But mostly I just make my voice heard at the ballot box. But this year was, it felt a lot different, I think, for a lot of people. Is this something that you'd done before, or were you kind of like me that kind of just, felt the Holy Spirit and just let it move you?
Absolutely. This was the first campaign I'd worked on. I guess I'd done some calls, like robocalls for Hillary, and then in the primary I did some calls for Elizabeth Warren. But this was the first time I'd kind of signed up, joined, and done the work.
Yeah.
Door to door. And I really felt this year that there was nothing the call was going to do, that I needed to be in person in a battleground state, if you will.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of how it felt. Is like I could be sitting, I'm from Arkansas. I lived there. Of course, if you listen to this show enough, you will hear me say I'm from Arkansas 4 or 5 times an episode because I'm from Arkansas, It's But anyway, I'm from there, lived there most of my life, and I lived in New York now for 3 years. Neither place is a great place to experience like grassroots, like get out the vote type things for 2 different reasons. We're woefully outnumbered in Arkansas, and in New York, we're everywhere. So I've never had that like opportunity, I guess, to kind of catch the moment and like get out there. Let's knock on doors. Let's drive. This could go either way. We don't know, so let's keep trying. So it was nice to experience that and feel like I am making a difference. Talk to people's knocking on doors where people are like, I really don't know. One guy's a crazy, insane psycho person, and the other one seems like a nice guy. It's just a tough choice. And you have these real conversations with people, and it, makes you feel like you're doing something, I guess, because they needed someone knocking on their door to tell them what's what.
If only we had more of those. A lot of people voted early this year, and that was always happy.
Yeah.
And we had a script to read, and we were working for Joe Biden and Cal Cunningham, but my approach with knocking on the doors was, hey, have you voted? In America, our country will be stronger if everybody votes. That's what I believe. That's why I'm doing this work. And it was really interesting to see how people responded to that kind of conviction about a right to vote and or the importance of everybody voting. It really kind of seemed to antagonize some people when I advocated for them to vote and or others to vote. That surprised me.
It was a little disheartening a bit, some of the interactions that were had for me. And like I said, we discussed it before, but it was some, the vitriol when you start just talking about, I was telling you once about a guy that him and his partner were in the front yard, and I was like, hey, I noticed their address was on the list. I was like, hey, is so-and-so? And then from the other side of the yard, he's like, get out of my face. Like, you're like 25 feet away from me, sir, but just, I wanted to know if you had a plan to vote or not. And he's like, I don't have to tell you nothing. Get out of here. Like, okay. So hopefully you didn't have a ton of those. But
no,
those were a little
I get the door slammed in my face a couple of times. But what's remarkable is that we have kind of isolated ourselves from like the traveling salesman, right? We're not used to somebody coming and knocking on our door. And we don't have a culture now that appreciates dialogue about politics. Politics is not something you want at your dinner table. Politics is not something you want in your office place. Politics is not something you want a stranger coming to your door to talk to you about. But then you realize that nobody's talking. We're only listening. We've all got our media, and we're all downloading from a very small handful of folks that are going to tell us what to think and tell us how to respond to what we're hearing. And that really seems to be the root of the problem for us, is that we don't have a way to have a friendly stranger come and say, I want to hear what you care about this year in an election. That was my pitch to everybody. I make sure you have a chance to vote and a plan to vote. Would you like to share any issues that matter to you this year in the election? That was all I'd ever say. And most people were unprepared to say what mattered to them. They might identify their party. They might say one or two things, but to go deeper with a stranger was really hard. And I really feel like that's a lack of a civic muscle that we have in this country.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that we're in the middle of a pandemic. I think a lot of these conversations would be taking place at the bar, because I know I engage in a ton of them when I'm bartending during election. So we lost that kind of like that balance, someone checking us on our thoughts as we think out loud, where we're just sitting in an echo chambers, our own individual echo chambers across the country, and just shouting as loud as we can and not hearing anything back that's anything different. And
that's a great point, because people haven't left their house in weeks other than to go to the grocery store, and then a stranger's knocking on their door, and it's not the right time.
Yeah, but there was no right time. I'm sure we all had questions about driving, flying, traveling to another state in a hot spot, and going and purposely contacting as many people as we possibly can. I mean, that was a little contradictory in my own thoughts as like, well, is it even responsible to be doing this? Well, yes, the future of our country is at stake here. We already know what actions that our current president is going to take while in the midst of record shattering coronavirus cases and deaths. It's currently happening right now, so we know the answer to that. So I think for me, it was worth it to know that we can, there's a light, even if there's a lot of bleakness and, unfortunately death upon us over these supposedly the most, beautiful times of the year. It's a lot, but there's hope coming. So
let's keep our fingers crossed. I mean, the question is whether we all go down to Georgia and try and do it again, right? I guess my read on it was that I was really grateful for the opportunity to do it, and it kept me busy and it kept me feeling purposeful. But I suppose that the organization could have done a lot more to hire people from North Carolina. They didn't need to be
Mhm.
having us drive in
Yep.
and fly in from where they did. So fingers crossed there'll be a lot more mobilization in Georgia with the same amount of resources.
Yeah, I think they'll have quite a few resources. And then, yeah, I'd like to see some organizations take a community first approach to grassroots organizations. Get your neighbor out there to have a conversation with you, or the guy that offers to mow your lawn, or these people that, you know.
Relational canvassing is what they call that. Yeah, that's proven to be successful. Cool.
It's
Let's get
almost the only successful way. Let's do it. You're saying we should start an organization and get that going?
No, I'm saying let's talk about bars. I was promised a conversation about bartending and bar.
Yeah, I was ready to move on anyway. So I had to relate the ARC experience. I did want to have a chance to talk about our experiences that we had, and I appreciate you for humoring me. All right, moving on. So you used to bartend. That's the qualification is that you pretty much
I am qualified then, yes.
Have been a bartender at some point, and you're, like I said, you're one of the few that it's not unemployed as a bartender because of the pandemic, but you'd moved on to other careers.
Right.
Can you tell me about your bartending journey?
Right. Well, so bartending was a way to make money. You know, I got a undergraduate degree at a prestigious university, and then took an internship that didn't pay enough, and realized that I needed a way to make additional money and kind of learn about the new city I was in DC. And so got a couple bartending jobs. I was a waiter and a bartender at a Malaysian restaurant here in DC, and then I got a kind of an on-call bartending gig at the Four Seasons Hotel, which was DC's prime hotel. You know, at that hotel, I served drinks at an event with 3 Nobel laureates. I put a plate down in front of George Lucas and took the plate away when he was done. I carried a tray of champagne and wine over towards now disgraced Congressman Al Franken, and you know there was six wine glasses on that tray, and I got a little tremor, and one started to go, and they all started to go, and then crash. For a moment, I was close to Al Franken, and then I spilled a tray of wine and broke glass everywhere.
I wonder if he ever drinks out of a beer stein,
right?
And was like, "No, this is Frankenstein."
Busting him with a joke,
because that's all I would. Those are the thoughts I have.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like you did a variety of things. What was your favorite? I remember you telling me when we were in Durham that you used to bartend or used to go to a bar in Durham.
Bartender at Ned Devine's on Main Street, down in Durham. A local's watering hole when it wasn't college night. And if I remember right, college night was on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and sometimes Saturdays, sometimes Fridays. And you know, college night was when you got paid. But college night was also pretty treacherous. You know, Duke students tend to be of a certain socioeconomic class, and there's some diversity of the student body, but you get these like young kids coming in and putting on trap music as loud as they could and pretending they were gangsters and treating everybody like they were servant class. And I guess the thing I remember most about it was that we'd have a $10 pitcher special, and it turns out that $10 was kind of the right price to buy a pitcher of beer to pour on your friend's head. And you know, you could never quite track them down or catch it, but once it happened once, it was going to happen at least 3 more times in your hot, sweaty dance floor. I suppose a beer shower felt nice for a minute, but I'll tell you what doesn't feel nice is mopping up the bar floor after 4 pitchers of beer on the ground at 3 a.m, 3:30.
No, fuck that. Honestly.
I mean, there's something about, you know, you're a bartender, you take the turf, right? You're going to have sticky floors at night, and you're going to have people that misbehave. But there's a difference about the privilege that comes with the misbehavior that always kind of irks me.
Did you see that more in, obviously, the gigs you had in DC weren't college bar gigs, but
yeah, I mean, so I also bartended for a while at a club kind of in near the convention center in DC, Club 7. I think that it was a short-lived club. And that was fun. Different. That was a cash bar. Most of the events at Four Seasons weren't cash bar. So there was a lot of hoity-toityness. There was a lot of expectedness. But also when it's not a cash bar, you don't have a transaction, right? So I guess I didn't feel the same. Yeah, and of course I don't have a Nobel Prize. So when people were coming up and asking for drinks, I made them a drink. And that's kind of how it went versus these kids who were just kind of snooty and snotty.
And assholes probably. Probably a lot
You
of
know, I'm
assholes.
sure they're going to grow up to be good people. Some of them will have their wake ups, and some of them won't.
Some people on both sides. There's good people on both sides of this bar
Absolutely.
situation that you're talking about.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this brings me into my question about your cocktail for the day. I know we told you about this whole concept of the show about 2 hours ago. So hopefully you've had plenty of time to have created your magnum opus cocktail to share with the world, all with us here.
Well, so
what do you got
I'm
for
curious what the parameters are, right? Because it's interesting. You know, if you work in a bar, you've got a bar. At home, especially if you're not working in a bar, you've got to really kind of carefully curate what you have. And so lately, I've been trying to pinch pennies and like really reach for great bottles. And I tend to drink what I have with a rock or neat. But right now I'm working on some Trader Joe's here in DC. You can't stock liquor. And in California, Trader Joe's can carry liquor, and it's great. One of the best ways to get value for your money. But Trader Joe's has started carrying some fortified wines. So I'm working through a $6 bottle of sherry here, dry sherry. It's not great, but it's been aged 1 year in oak, and that's more than you can say for any other $6.99 bottle or $5.99 bottle of liquor.
Probably so.
And it's really not bad. The dry is less tasty to me than the what is it, the Amontadillo. I like that one. But for cocktail recipe, something I came up with, 2012? I don't remember what I named it. We're going to go with an ounce of tequila, reposado or blanco, doesn't matter much. Half ounce of mezcal, good smoky Joven. And then we're going to do an ounce and a half of Saint Germain, a good squeeze of lemon, shake it, give it a champagne float, and a lemon twist.
Okay. And what should we call this?
What should we call this? I like to name things after myself. Let's call it the Devin. I made the drink.
All right,
I like the drink.
Damn it. It's my drink.
That's right.
I'll name it. All right. The Devin. I like it. Sounds good. So it's sounds light, smoky, with a little citrusy, herbal.
Yeah, citrus herbal.
There's a lot going on there, yeah.
It
seems like sounds like something would be great as I know you're doing the champagne float, but also would be great as a highball.
Yeah.
Just something light and airy.
Yeah.
Top it with soda. Throw a little lemon wedge on there.
I've done similar with Coqui Americano in place of Saint Germain. Gets you somewhere different. You can, if you do that, hold the champagne and do a dash of bitters, and maybe an orange instead of a lemon.
Yeah, man. All right, let's switch it all up. All right, we just gave you 12 different types of ways to do that. So
yeah, I hope you
try them all.
And then I wanted to put a plug in. When I was last in Mexico, I guess it was a year ago for Thanksgiving. Poked around and was looking. I guess, I'm always looking for value in terms of what I could buy. But Siete Lenguas Blanco Tequila, one of the best.
Siete Lenguas,
one of the best tequilas I've found. Especially a good Blanco is kind of hard to come by because you're getting what comes right out of the still, really.
The second or third guest bartender ever on my show. That was his cocktail was the Skinny Margarita, which was a pint glass of Siete Lenguas.
Okay, all right. So it was good tequila.
Yeah, you have a firm endorsement from another bartender on my show.
Fabulous.
So. But yeah, that's some quality stuff. The very second to last bar that I worked at was the first time I was able to run across it a couple years ago. And
Right. What's your
okay.
value bourbon?
I guess it really depends on what you call value, because Maker's I consider
Okay.
value bourbon. It's my favorite. But if you're talking about super value, like Kentucky Tavern,
super value, right,
is very good.
Ran across in North Carolina. Ran across a bottle of Old Granddad Bonded Rye, $23. Out of this world. That's my next plug.
That's your go-to.
When I say my go-to, it's just a new discovery. But I'm always looking. I'm always looking for $20 bottles that hit at the $50 level.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I have something like that. I don't know. I've gone too far down a couple different rabbit holes with the last 2-3 bars that I've worked at were like new experience type bars, what kind of really expanded my ideas of what a cocktail is and what can be in it. So I've abandoned that journey that I think every 28-year-old male takes, is where they start to make sure that they have a mastery of the different whiskeys and have a high and medium and low, and then, have appreciated it on the rocks or neat, all that journey. I've kind of abandoned that now in my late 30s to, off in search of the discovery of as many different types of liquor as possible, which is, it's rewarding and challenging on its own.
So I've got one for you that is still in my back pocket. So I don't know how wide your reach is. Maybe I'll keep it to myself. There's a Sri Lankan arak, which is not the same as, arak means liquor across the world, I believe in Arabic, but mostly it's an anise flavored drink. It's made with red rice and other things across the kind of the Middle East and through kind of Muslim influenced world. But in Sri Lanka, it's made from the sap of the flowers of coconut trees. It starts, they ferment it. It makes a toddy. People drink it as a toddy. It's kind of a little bit of a cloudy beverage. Not so savory.
Yeah, what's that called?
It's arak.
I got a arc. How do you spell it?
ARRACK. And for the most part, it's still only available in Sri Lanka. There's a British company that brings it into the UK, but I think like a one line. And for a minute, there was a company bringing it in through the West Coast in California, but they didn't really get great coverage. Bringing a new brown liquor onto the market is a hell of a deal, especially one that nobody's ever heard of. Given that it's from a coconut flower, you'd think it would have some natural advantages, but it's still an uphill climb.
I do have one verified listener in Sri Lanka that I can maybe put out a word to, or hey, if you're really listening, contact me, give me some arc.
That's where it's at.
All right, cool. Well, I appreciate you stopping by and joining me today, Devin. Like I said, it's we had zero plans to actually do this, so you to have a cocktail ready and some good cocktailing experience stories to provide, I really appreciate that on the spur of the moment.
Cool.
I want to thank Matt Richards again for joining me. Hilarious guy. Catch him on all kinds of things. Host of HQ Trivia and a bunch of movies and TV shows and all kinds of stuff. Check him out. He's everywhere. And Devin McIntire, I appreciate you also joining me. Make sure you check us out on all the social medias at the UB Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And you can follow me, Keith A. Carter, on Instagram, and Keith Carter 1981 on Twitter and Facebook. Is there a way that everyone could get a hold of you if they wanted to give you a follow? Also, something that I hadn't actually talked to you about yet, but we do encourage everyone to tip their guest bartenders. For providing us with a cocktail today, if you could give us your Cash App or your Venmo, we'll make sure people try to
what I want is people to stay the F home. Like, let's get this COVID thing done. That's your tip, is I want to be able to go back out to a bar because we've gotten rid of COVID or got it under control. Get a test if you're sniffling.
Perfect.
Stay home. Be a good person.
That actually goes strictly into it. I was designing a new shirt to release on the website later today. That says "Wear your mask" in a neon bar sign, so I can go back to work.
Absolutely. I mean, save your tip for a nice bottle of bourbon or something.
Yeah. That's everyone do that. Everyone take that tip you were going to give him and immediately go buy a bottle of bourbon, and then stay your ass at home. Yeah. Once again, thanks for joining us, Devin. I really appreciate it. There will be some sporadic shows over the rest of the holidays, just like there has been for the last couple of weeks. Want to make sure that everyone has time to get together with their family at home. The same family that lives in your house is the family that you should be gathering with over the next couple of weeks. And again, in Christmas, let's tamp down this virus.
Absolutely.
Let's get back to work. Wear a mask so I can go back to work, please. But anyway, that'll do it for us. I will catch you guys next week, and I'll see you at the bar.
Thanks, Keith.